All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, every night doing post NBA game recaps. Get used to them. Hope you guys like them. I don't know what tonight's title is gonna be, but I've been trying to switch them up because it's been a lot of Nets recently as they've been playing some good teams. But yeah, man, good night of basketball. Feels good. Last night, I feel like was kind of boring outside of LeBron James getting upset by Russell Westbrook, which is still crazy to me. But earlier tonight, the Sixers they beat the Raptors. Warriors they beat the Knicks. Didn't watch either of those two games. I actually had to miss those. But before we get into today's video, if you guys like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Really, really, really appreciate it, man. Mavericks Celtics. So this game's super juicy. The Mavericks, first off, are now back to 500, which is super cool. Kristaps Porzingis is allegedly the Mavericks are testing out to see what his value looks like. So I think I'm gonna make a Rockets video tomorrow. I'm not huge on the Rockets getting Kristaps just because of his injury history. It's pretty crazy. I mean, he's still super young, and he's a great player. I like it if we found a way to get him. I don't really know what we would have to give up for him, what the Rockets would have to give up for him, but either way, man, tonight was a good win. He was out, actually, and Luka Doncic, he hit two crazy threes to pretty much put out the Boston Celtics, and the I feel so bad for Celtics fans. I am so glad I'm not a Celtics fan. They are now below 500. They are 15-16. I love, man, it's tough when, so I live stream a lot of these games, and we'll get some Celtics fans in there, and they're just not satisfied with the lineup. But then they win a few games, and it's like, when we're healthy, it's a different story. But in my opinion, man, I don't know if it was can't blame every game on Kemba Walker, but I just don't think that Kemba Walker fits on the Boston Celtics. And mainly, I don't think Kemba Walker fits on a lot of teams that are trying to pretty much be not pretenders to contenders, but take that next leap into actually making the NBA Finals and winning the NBA Finals. The Boston Celtics last year for the last several years. And this year, although their record doesn't show it, they're still a really talented, very good team. Their coach is incredible. Brad Stevens is a G. But now they're 15-16, and I don't know, man. I don't know, but I would definitely not be satisfied with this lineup. And I actually think Ainge came out and said that a couple of weeks ago, that this current Celtics lineup, with the way they're playing basketball, they're not going to win anything. They're not going to win at all. They're not good enough. They don't have the talent. That's tough. That's super tough. So I think that the Boston Celtics hopefully make some moves at the deadline, but we'll have to wait to see that. It's just a big win for the Mavericks. They're at 15-15 now. I think their last 10, they're 7-3. Luka is finally, last two games or so, looking pretty good. And tonight they won the game because of Luka, which is very, very cool to see. Next up, T-Wolves versus Bucks. It was actually a pretty close game. D'Angelo Russell being out at least 1 month, pretty recent. He got injured like last week. I feel like the Minnesota Timberwolves are a very fun team. When healthy, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, they're a pretty fun team to watch. D'Lo being out, it hurts them. Obviously, they're 7-25. Like, they're pretty screwed anyways. They just fired Ryan Saunders. Who they signed, they didn't promote their assistant coach. That is wild to me. That is just absolutely wild to me. But I don't even want to talk about that. The Bucks got it done. I think they're sitting comfortably at third right now in the East. I think the Bucks are insane pretenders because I think Giannis can't win for anything, especially when it matters most. He can't shoot. Like, that's a huge issue. But I really love when the Bucks are super competitive. I want to see them at their best. They have an extremely talented team, and I would love to see if the Bucks were to somehow just pull off upsets throughout the playoffs, but can't even call them really upsets as they're the 3rd seed right now. They've been the 1 seed in recent memory, but if they were to take down the Nets, Sixers, or the 2 current East favorites, if they're looking good, man, I'm all for it. But as far as I'm concerned, the Milwaukee Bucks are just complete pretenders just because Giannis can't shoot. And in the playoffs, that's a really big deal, man. They're just going to make him shoot. They're going to bait him into shooting, and he hasn't taken that leap yet. Next up, we got Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal. They almost took down the Los Angeles, or I shouldn't say that, but they came back for a little bit. Clippers, 135 points tonight. They're 22-10 now. They are extremely good. And seeing Paul George and Kawhi Leonard back on the same court, it's absolutely beautiful. It really is. Paul George has been shooting lights out recently. He had like 6 threes tonight, 6 or 7 from deep. Kawhi Leonard. This is a really fun team. The Clippers are a super fun team, and when healthy, as we've seen, they're very lethal, but staying healthy is extremely important for the Los Angeles Clippers. And 22-10, man, they're number 2 in the West right now. They're doing good. They got their boys back. They got their big 2 back, fully healthy, ready to go. So kind of monitoring the Los Angeles Clippers right now as they're ready to go, man, and it's just fun to watch. I love when everybody is at full strength. I want Anthony Davis to come back ASAP so we can see a good Clippers-Lakers rivalry matchup. Lastly, this game was fun. This was a TNT. This was the second half of the doubleheader on TNT. Trailblazers versus the Nuggets. Now, going into the game, Portland's lost their last 2. Denver's kind of been struggling a little bit as of late as well. This would be a very big win at home for them. Nikola Jokic completely went off. He just completely went off. When I turned the game off, as coming down in the closing seconds, he had 41 points. This dude was just absolutely going off, and he really needed to because Jamal Murray, bad shoulder, bad shooting night. So they really needed Nikola Jokic to come through, and he really did. But Portland Trailblazers, it was tough to watch them tonight because you could tell Dame wasn't he wasn't 100% playing-wise. Like, I'm sure not health-wise, but he just wasn't 100%. You could kind of tell something was off. He wasn't shooting the ball very well. He had a lot of sloppy passes, especially late. He had a very, very bad, dumb pass across court. They need CJ McCollum so badly. It is crazy. They are a very good team, but you could tell it's so much. It's nights like this when Damian Lillard's off. He's not like Dollar Dame, Logo Lillard. He's not pulling up from half court. So you need another guy to shield some pressure off your main guy, Damian Lillard. And that's CJ McCollum's job, and he does a great job. They're a great 1-2 duo. CJ McCollum is extremely, extremely underrated. And whenever he's hurt, you can kind of tell, like, oh, yeah, without CJ, they're nothing in the playoffs. They're just completely nothing. And it's fun seeing Carmelo Anthony try to turn back the clock every now and then. And they have a really fun team, and the Portland Trailblazers are a good team. And when CJ comes back, I wouldn't count them out of anything. But they really need CJ, especially on nights like this when they're just not shooting the ball entirely well all night. And you just know CJ, especially in the fourth quarter, they could have used a bucket so many times late in the fourth quarter. And it's tough when Dame's really the only guy doing most of the scoring in the clutch. So wish CJ a speedy recovery because hopefully he can come back soon and ball out. Because Portland Trailblazers, with tonight's loss, they're 18-13. They're on a 3-game losing streak. So they're a good, talented team, and they should be definitely getting some respect. Nurkic as well. Hopefully, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see this Portland Trailblazers team. Gary Trent Jr. is having a great season as well. Derek Jones Jr. was a nice addition. Enes Kanter is a very, very cool addition. Fantasies on my fantasy team. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll see you guys tomorrow.